So Dr. Tower told us, he said, we're fortunate that we have found this early. I feel like your best bet is a procedure called the Whipple. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Whipple, but if you've known anybody that's had the Whipple, or if you know a doctor, they'll just shake their head and say, oh, that's a bad surgery. So I skipped to the other two grandchildren. Avery was born the year that I was going through the chemo for the cancer in the liver. And then Chase, our third grandchild, was born 3 years ago. So on his third birthday in September of last year, Dr. Steve Bierman spent 8.5 hours in the operating room trying to rid my body of the cancer. He came out and he said, like he told the family, I didn't remember seeing him for a couple of days, but he said, I got everything I could see. I got clean margins, but it has spread to 5 of the 10 lymph nodes I took out. So that means it's already spreading to the rest of the body, or trying to. Because of that, I did chemo. I took a drug called Tarceva, which until that point, or until just recently, it's been used for lung cancer. Now they're trying it with pancreatic cancer. And that was rough. It was a rough surgery. It was a rough recovery. And it was rough treatment. I think the Tarceva is what got me. I don't know. But it was a rough treatment. But since that point, I think it was probably around the 1st of March, I started feeling like me again. I started being able to do things for the kids. I didn't eat lunch with Tekia all year until sometime in March. Didn't eat lunch with Jamal, and still haven't, because he would be mortified if I walked in his lunchroom in high school. But I feel great right now. I have had 2 clean CAT scans since I finished chemo, which means that right now there's no indication of cancer anywhere in my body. So what happens if it comes back? I don't know. I don't know, and I'm gonna tie myself to the notes right now because I don't really know all of this. As you well know, breast cancer has been very well funded, and thank goodness, because I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that. But pancreatic cancer is the 4th leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. Of the nation's top 10 cancer killers, pancreatic cancer is the only one with a survival rate of less than 10%. The chances of somebody being alive after being diagnosed, the chances of somebody being alive 5 years later is 6%. 6%. And what's even more disturbing is the fact that the statistics have not changed for pancreatic cancer in over 40 years. So that is why I beg you to keep doing what you're doing. I beg you to keep raising money. I beg you to keep participating in events like this tonight. Because even though breast cancer has come so far, and I think about St. Jude, and I wonder where would my cousin Bruce be today had St. Jude been in Memphis then. Even though those have come so far, there are so many cancers that have still a long way to go. And I just beg you to keep working on that. I want to see Tekia and Jamal graduate from high school. I want to see them go to college. I want to see them get married someday, and I want to meet future grandchildren. Basically, I want more than 5 more years. I want a lot more than 5 more years. The last 10 years have forced me to truly rely on God and put my life in His hands. I know I wouldn't be here today, and I certainly would have no hope for the future if not for Him. I have been tremendously blessed with a doctor that realizes the same thing, and he sees himself as an instrument of God's, and so do I. So, I just want to tell you again how much I appreciate you. I want to tell you that I couldn't be in any better hands than in my doctor's hands and the doctor's and my God's hands. And a dear friend of mine that's here tonight said she had the opportunity to meet Dr. Tower recently. And she went up to him and she said, "Are you the one that kept my friend Tricia Lillard alive for the last 10 years? And he said, "No, that would be God." So I want you to know, not only do I feel confident in Dr. Tower, but I feel confident in my God that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay, and my family is going to be okay. And life is good again. Life is great right now. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for taking your time and raising the money. And now let's have a good time. Let's start the relay, and let's kick cancer in the butt. Thank you.
Do I need to tell you why you're here? No, can't do it. Tricia, thank you so much. We are so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Can I have all the survivors that are in our group please join me up here for just a few minutes? Can I have all survivors? Come on. Come on, Frank. You know, we've had all the floods. We've had hard economic times. We're busy. No one has time to do half of what they're doing. But you're here for them. And they're here because of you. Give yourself a round of applause. I would like to ask you to come up to the microphone and state the year you were diagnosed, your diagnosis, and how long you've been free. And I'd love it if you're comfortable enough to do that. Someone want to join me?
I was diagnosed in 2004, so 7 I was diagnosed a year ago, April 2010, and breast cancer, and I'm still undergoing my Herceptin treatment, and I'm glad to be here.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in '93, and just last year I was diagnosed with bladder cancer and still being treated for it.
I was diagnosed a year ago with breast cancer in March of 2010, and I'm a year to
I was diagnosed in 1998.
I was diagnosed in 2005 with renal cell carcinoma.
I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2003. I have been cancer-free for 7 years.
I was diagnosed in 2005.
I've been cancer-free for 10 years.
Okay, we are going to have the first lap. I'm going to ask my survivors and Tricia to lead us. It will be called the Survivor Lap. It will kick off our event, and after this lap, please come and talk with our survivors, thank them for being here, and let's start having some fun.